Hey everyone, it's Steve here from My Crypto World. Well, if you're in Australia, it's the start of winter, being the 4th of June, and today we're going to have a look at the market, have a look at a number of different coins in the market, and I'm going to explain to you why I think we've actually hit the bottom. All that right after this. Okay, so we're going to have a look at our total market cap chart before we go on to individual crypto coins in the market space. Now, at the moment, the market is pretty much traveling across in a sideways movement, as you can tell if we just blow this up a little bit here. We've fallen all the way back down to the $1.136 trillion mark, which we highlighted all the way back over in, where were we here, around about May 2021, so almost 12 months ago, just over 12 months ago. Then hit that point again in June 2021 and then again in July 2021. So we're pretty much bouncing across this strong support line for the market. Now, the reason I'm betting or not betting, I'm I guess more towards the fact that we may have hit our cycle bottom is just the fact that not only is the whole market moving sideways along a strong resistance line, but all individual cryptos are as well, which is really, really important to look at. So let's just go through a couple of cryptos now to see where they're at in comparison to their history. So these are in alphabetical order, that no other reason that I'm doing Cardano first. ADA happens to be its kicker, so or ticker as some people call it. You can see here that way back in January 2021, Cardano hit a high there of around about 39 cents, just under 40 cents. And at the time, again, history teaches you a lot of things. You don't know that's going to be a level of support or resistance at that particular point in time. You've really got to wait for things to unfold and then view what that looks like now in the future. But back then, it hit a resistance of that resistance line there, moved away from it slightly and then broke through that and has traveled up above it ever since. Now what it's done is it's come back down and it's resting beautifully on the same resistance line. So no longer is it a ceiling for the stock to break through or for the crypto to break through. It is now a resistance line or a floor for it to bounce off of, and that's exactly what Cardano has done over the last couple of weeks. You can see here it hit it down to the cent, moved up sideways, went sideways for a little bit and has now moved up against that. So that's just a quick look at Cardano, and really what you want to do for all your particular stocks if you're doing your own research, sometimes the easiest thing to do is to get rid of all the other technical indicators you might have on your chart, your moving averages, your Bollinger Bands, your stochastics, your oscillators, and get rid of them all, get rid of all the noise, and just have a look at the basic data. Where was the most significant support and resistance levels on a particular crypto or the total market cap? And it just gives you a good soundboard to work from to see where the market direction might be going. So based on all this analysis, a very simple analysis, it looks like to me that Cardano has hit its bottom, it's bounced off of that and it's starting to move up. Now this does not mean that any of these stocks that I'm talking about or cryptos that I'm talking about today cannot move down any further. They absolutely can. This is just my personal opinion only based on the data that I've looked at over the last several weeks. Next one is Bitcoin Cash. So we can see here, we've got to scroll back a little way there. But Bitcoin Cash traveled sideways for a long time through this period here, all the way back in January 2019. The Bitcoin Cash then hit that same resistance level back in March 2020. And right now we haven't hit the low yet. It's sort of just bounced above it. But we're not far from it. You're talking about maybe $15 difference there. So Bitcoin Cash may come down a little bit further before it continues to rise. But I think, again, as Cardano, as I said with Cardano, we actually have a lot of upside here at the moment. It's bouncing beautifully along a nice straight resistance line. And if it has got to fall a bit further, I don't think it'll be that much further before the bottom's found. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, which is the big one the whole market tends to move on. Now, it's not a super strong resistance level here. There is a slight resistance level, and the reason I say that is the Bitcoin has moved along this this trench for quite a while. So we hit this figure way back in January 2021, and the figure is, at the moment is around about the $28,000 mark. In fact, that might be just slightly wrong. Let me just adjust that a little bit. It might come up a bit. It's probably more accurate. $28,000 mark. We hit that. It was a very small resistance or ceiling way back in December 2020. It broke through that, then bounced from that in January 2021 twice. Then again in June 2021. Almost hit that level in July 2021, and now we're moving sideways along that level for Bitcoin. So again, Bitcoin could absolutely fall further. If it does fall further, its next resistance line is going to be right here at the $20,000 mark, almost exactly to $20,000, and it probably is exactly 20,000. The problem with some of these charts is you move it a tiny millimeter, and you know $1,000 has been wiped off. So that's where that is at the moment. So if it does fall further, that will be where it's going to go next. The fact that it's bounced and moved so beautifully along this blue resistance line here since 2021 tells me that it's a very big, what we call a distribution phase that we're going through here. So I think that this absolutely could be the bottom for now. Polkadot, same thing. So we're bouncing along an area. I didn't put my resistance line on there. Let's go to it now. Now you'll see that some people are die-hard fans of, if it's broken through the resistance line, then you've got no hope, it's going to fail. I'm not like that. I'm happy for it to break through a resistance line as long as most of the times it doesn't close below it. But you can see all the way back here, back in, where are we? January 2021, the Polkadot moved sideways along this period around about the $9 mark, $9.30 mark. It came close to hitting that bottom way back in June 2021, and we are now traveling beautifully along that, and we're also creating a very strong pennant pattern here as well. Now what we want to see is a pennant break on the upside, so that'll show support and strength for the stock moving forward, or for the crypto moving forward, sorry. But again, time will see where it's going to go. My bet is that we've probably hit our bottom, and I've been wrong before, so you can't bet on what I'm saying. I'm just giving you my personal opinion. Engine coin, again, hasn't been this low before, so according to the charts I have, there may be other historical data out there prior to, what was that, around about May 2021. I think my microphone's going to fall off. Hopefully it doesn't. So while we haven't seen a low like this before on my particular charts, it is moving sideways at the moment and creating a very small pennant. So I'm not too sure about Engine coin, about where that's going to go. Hopefully that's the bottom for that, but we'll find out in due course. Ethereum, another big one. Now you can just have a look at that and see for yourself. I've taken all other indicators off the chart, how beautifully that, for whatever reason, Ethereum just likes bouncing along the $1,771 mark. The resistance line is actually at 1,688. So at the moment we're at 1,771, but you can see that in history we had a big sideways consolidation movement here all the way back in February and through February and March of 2021. Ethereum then moved up strongly, came back down, bounced off that level in May 2021, bounced off it again in June 2021, bounced off it again in July 2021. And again, it's very similar to Bitcoin. A massive distribution phase has happened here, and we're now resting back on those levels again. So it looks, for me, it looks like there's a lot of support and a lot of strength at this level, which is why I'm more bullish than bearish on where the market goes from here. Now, in saying that as well, with all of these coins, there's nothing to stop the market from traveling sideways for 18 months or longer. So you've just got to be prepared for that as well. Sometimes crypto and investing is a very boring game, and I spoke about that in my last video for those that haven't seen it. Hollow chain, again, moving nicely along a support line there at 2 cents. No, sorry, that's a tenth of 2 cents. And we've had a very small pennant breakout recently over the last couple of weeks. So again, pretty good. IOTA. So it traveled sideways along this area for a long time through 2020. It really didn't do a great deal, but it traveled beautifully along the 22 cent mark. Again, whopping big trades and changes in the market over the last couple of years, and it's come back to find that same resistance line now before bouncing off of it and moving upwards from there. So again, time will tell. That's IOTA. I'll speed this up a bit, otherwise this video is going to be super long. What have we got here? Chainlink. Again, you're going to see the same. It's exactly the same patterns on just about every chart that I bring up. It's the market is moving along an old resistance line. And again, as I say, I'll reiterate, we didn't know at the time that it was going to be a resistance line. The fact that it's found support at this level just shows strength around this area. And the fact that so many coins are in the same predicament, finding strength at a previous support line, for me, is a very bullish sign. Here's Mana. I don't have a great deal of history on Mana, but you can see here, way back in May 2021, it hit a resistance line, bounced away from it, came back down, found its floor, went back up, found the same resistance line again, fell back away from it, and then broke through it eventually back in October 2021. It's since gone through a sideways movement, come back down, and found support back again at the blue resistance line of 26 cents, and it's now trading just on the yellow resistance line of about $1. Matic, exactly the same thing. It's the same story over and over again, guys. Look at this one here. So when Matic first launched, it hit a high of 59 cents. It then hit that high again a little later on in April 2021 before it broke through that. After it broke through it, it traveled up for quite a while. Then the coin actually fell all the way down, almost back down to that resistance line of 21 cents. It's since gone up and back down, and it's now resting on... sorry, did I say 21 cents? That's incorrect. 59 cents, my apologies. It's now resting right on 59 cents. At the moment, it's 58.93 cents. So, you know, it's a pretty strong resistance level there for that one as well, for Matic. And I'm not saying you should go out and buy any of these. Again, it's just my opinion of where the market is at the moment. One or Harmony, exactly the same. Look, it's just all of these are trading beautifully along these lines here. RSR, I haven't done my analysis on RSR, so this is... Okay, so this one's a little bit different. Unless there's further data that I don't have on this chart, this one has fallen below its strength there. Reserve rights is... that's probably a bit too high. Okay, so it's fallen through it. I don't have any other historical data other than that. Some of my charts aren't the most... don't have the most up-to-date data for history. But this one here I'd be probably a little bit concerned about, saying that it's found a new low. It has bounced up from the previous low though, and is generally heading towards an upward direction, back towards the resistance line of 7 cents there. But I don't know why I hadn't done more analysis on that one. It doesn't matter. So that's one I'd be cautious of. Sandbox, again, we found a support line here back at the high of $1.20, and where are we trading right now? Anywhere between $1.16 and $1.29, just moving sideways along that band, which is great. Shiba Inu, again, if we go back in history here, you can see how long it took Shiba Inu to break past this barrier of 0.000996 cents. It took a long time. It really just traded in a channel from between the dates of May 2021 all the way through to October 2021, so a good 6 months there. And now it's come back down and falling on that resistance line and just again moving sideways. But it's above the resistance line this time, not below it. Solana, same thing again. It had a strong support at the orange line of $80.69, where it had resistance back here back in August 2021. It's then moved sideways and bounced off that level several times before crashing through it recently, and it's found more support at the $40 mark, which is the halfway mark of the $80 level there. And you can see here that through this period, this period of April 2021 through to around about August 2021, the stock just actually, or the crypto kept trading sideways. I keep saying stocks because that's where my back history is in the stock market, but I do mean crypto when I say that. Phantasma, again, look, you can just tell, just looking at these stocks, I'm not going to say anything now, but you can see that where it's bouncing off the resistance line based on history. T-Drop, I probably won't have a lot of data for T-Drop, so we might ignore that one. It was only launched last year, so there's not a great deal of history there. The only thing I can say with T-Drop is that it's forming a nice sideways pattern there, so similar to probably just reflecting what the market's doing, to be honest with you. Tfuel. So Tfuel here had a resistance line, a pretty strong one too, at around about 12 cents. It's since broken through that, and it's sitting now at its next resistance line. I don't think it'll fall much lower, not to say it can't, but it's now sitting at the 6 cents mark. Theta, same thing again. There was a resistance line above along this way back in history. It is now moving nicely above that at the moment. So it's bounced off of the 95 cent mark, or what were we? Yep, 95 cents. It's now at about $1.19 and just moving sideways. VRA, again moving nicely along. It's a smaller resistance line with VRA, so it only hit that really once. If we go to a weekly chart, it might look a little bit different. But VRA is one that's moving sideways at the moment, but could possibly drop lower because there's not a great deal of strength there on that point. I would say its next resistance line is going to be around about here, if it does drop any further. So down to around about, what's that? 1/5 of a cent. At the moment, we're trading at around about 1/6 of a cent. Wax, again, trading nicely along this resistance band here. It's gone up since hitting that low. The other thing I'll say with Wax, just looking at the chart, you can see that, let's go to other charts here just very quickly, and I'll just explain something to you. It's something you sort of get a skill set at doing when you've been looking at charts for such a long time. But when you go to, say, a Bitcoin chart, you'll see how the chart, that's Bitcoin Cash. You'll see how the charts kind of flows. It doesn't matter what direction it's in, it's kind of nice. You can sort of see where it's going. When you go to Wax, it had really nice movements early on. And you can see over here, way back in when it first launched, you can see how the chart's starting to look scattered. Well, that's usually based on low volume, and it means that people who are coming into the market are buying so much of it that it's actually manipulating the price. And that's why you get these bars that, you know, at open high. I'll just try and blow one up here so I can give you an example of what I'm talking about. So look at this big green bar here. It opened low and it closed high, and that sort of indicates very low volume within the chart. You can see, look at these bars here. They're really worrying. There's nothing wrong to buy into it. What the issue is getting out of it, because there might not be enough buyers to take up what you're wanting to sell. And we're starting to see that same pattern appear right now. It's not as bad, but I'd say the volume has dropped off on this. It's either that or large institutions are coming through and buying whopping big amounts that is just manipulating the market. You can see here on some days there's virtually no volume being traded on that at all. Just very different looking bar charts. XRP, again, we've got to go back a bit here. We're trading, well, it's bounced off the 34 cent mark. That was a resistance line for a number of years for XRP. In fact, look how far it's traveled. We scroll this up. It's pretty much, most of its life moves sideways along this sort of band here. And we're right where we are now. It's just sitting nicely above it. Zilliqa. We'll do Zilliqa and that'll be it. Again, this resistance line was created all the way back in March 2018. Again, you don't know it at the time. It moved upward from that very strongly, then came back down and pretty much traveled sideways along this resistance line for a number of months before it fell below it, and that resistance line now became a ceiling. So it became not a support, but more of a ceiling for it to break through. It broke through that back in December 2020. Went up strongly, came back down, found support for it again back in March 2022, shot up again recently, as we spoke about in some of the other videos we did, has come back down and again found support along this. So again, my point is the fact that all of these individual cryptos and the market total as a total are moving so strongly and nicely against the previous resistance line, for me is a strong indicator that the market may have found its bottom. For some particular coins, it may not have. It doesn't mean it's going to be the same for every coin, but by and large, you can tell from from what we've discussed today that the market's probably in a better phase than what we think it might be. Now, if the market goes down, you've got to be prepared for that. Again, I'm trying not to be doom and gloom. One of my biggest hindrances is I'm very optimistic and naturally, so sometimes I don't see or call things out as they probably are. But for me, it's a no-brainer to say that we're in a strong space at the moment. It doesn't mean we're going to make great money out of it at the moment. Again, it might move sideways for a long time. It's the boring phase of the market. But as I've said in previous videos, this is where a lot of the money is made, because you can dollar cost average into all of these cryptos at the moment, save up a bucket of cryptocurrency for the next bull run that might happen in the next, say, let's say the next 6 to 24 months, roughly. Anyway, that's the video for today. I hope that gives you some insight into where things are at, and maybe hopefully gives you some hope around the market and your particular coins. As always, if you've got any comments, please drop them in the comment section below. And if you could hit like and subscribe to this video, it really will help the channel grow further. I will see you in the next video. Until then, take care of yourself and each other. Cheers.